All right, in terms of back edge attacks, I got a question about offside back edge attacks. And in HEMA, if we're working on a nice cutting motion and we don't really need to strike too hard, back edge attacks are great. If I'm throwing a back edge to the offside, so the opposite of my dominant side. So generally if I'm cutting from my right, we call that an onside attack. And if I'm cutting from my left, my dominant side, we call that the offside. So usually if I'm throwing a back edge attack in HEMA on the offside, I'm probably throwing this attack. So I'm actually pushing, throwing a crossed armed attack. This is either going to come straight down or it's going to come across. Not too often do I throw under attacks with the back edge, although it certainly does happen. One setup that's very nice for this is if I can get a high thrust. I'm here, I'm extended, I can push my pommel, transition to that thumb grip through a rising back edge cut, and then you can leave on the same plane with the same forward cut. But again, if I come in here and I throw this back edge cut, that's really nice. It can also give me a nice protection and a way to unwind. If you are doing SCA heavy, back edge cuts to the offside, very rarely you're going to have enough power, just to be honest. And really you can definitely throw this one. This one can land nice and hard. So again, I'm pushing, I'm throwing a high back edge cut. That's fine. This one, that kind of rising back edge cut to the offside, frankly, I probably wouldn't bother with. I would probably just turn my little wheel and throw that rising cut with the true edge. There's a kind of back edge cut that gets done more often with pull weapons and long swords in SCA, and that's a kind of a lever back edge cut. So essentially, if somebody is thrown over here and I can get a good block, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my hip back, push the pommel, I'm going to snap my back edge into the back of their helmet. And so this is not really a cutting motion, this is definitely kind of a reverse clubbing motion. So if I bring my pedal into the frame here a little bit, just so you can see it. If I come in here, what I'm essentially going to do, I'm going to bring this hip back, I'm going to push the pommel, I'm going to crack it this way. The problem is a lot of people end up shoveling it and pushing, and that doesn't work. So if you raise your hands, there's a good chance you're just going to kind of get this shovelly push. So keep your hands low, especially if you've just blocked something, you want to keep the weapon pinned. Keep the hands low, really work on pressing the pommel, pulling back with the lead hand tied to the hip. That should give you a nice percussive impact that will be recognized by an opponent. But if we raise our hands and we push, it's very unlikely that that's going to get called, and you're going to lose control of their weapon, and there's a good chance that they're going to hit you. So I would say for the most part, just practice the drills that I've shown in previous videos where you're throwing your back edges to the onside, the dominant side. This is probably the most common pattern: back, front, back, front. If you want to expand the back edges you're throwing to the offside, I would again recommend front, over and back, this one. I think that's much more common. If you want to play with some of those rising back edge cuts, that's great. If you are an SCA fighter, I would definitely focus on back edges to the onside and practice that levering back edge cut. That's really great if somebody gets in too close on you, but I wouldn't necessarily focus on some of those kind of rising back edges with the crossed arms, because it's hard to generate the kind of percussive impact that SCA combatants tend to recognize as a valid shot. And send me a message if you have more questions.